All right, it's day 3 of Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
8-bit joystick.
Even on day 3 of Portland Retro Gaming Expo, everyone was still super pumped about retro video games. 8-bit joystick here with the Immortal John Hancock here at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. How has the convention been for you so far?
Great. I go every year and I'm having a great time.
So where were you when the fire alarm hit?
I was here and I walked out there like everybody else and came back and it wasn't a big deal.
So I actually found that it actually was like there actually was a technical issue.
Yeah.
And I am from Portland, and so my low bar for weirdness is I expect things to be weird, so I just expected it was Portland shenanigans. So thank you for being here in Portland. I love your channel. And I want, my goal is to go to all of my YouTubers that actually inspired me to make my channel and say thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Bit Joystick here with John Riggs.
Good to see you. How are you feeling, man? You have a good show?
I'm doing great. Good. This is 3 day. We are at day 3.
At day 3, yeah.
I told myself that I would stop buying stuff after I ran out of cash.
Yeah,
and
for you.
I stopped by the ATM today on the way to the Max. I was like, because it's like you see, I don't really collect much NES, and I collect more like Sega Master System. And when you're into the more rarer dank stuff, and once you see it, you're like, I'm not going to see that again.
Yeah, Master System especially is getting harder and harder to find. Everyone's bringing Nintendo, of course, United States. That's what kind of rules the roost here. I love this Brazil table over here. That has
I know.
Weird Master System stuff.
So I am here in Portland, and Retro Gamer Brazil is also in Portland.
Yeah.
And I was going to like pick his brain, and he retired last night. So he actually retired from YouTube, and so I'm still like. And it's just after they added, and I do not speak Portuguese, so it was like right after they added the auto-translate feature. So I look forward to watching all his videos auto-translated into English.
You can do it now, unfortunately.
Now, but, you know, he's still here. Yeah. Well, no, he decided, it's like, okay, it's time-consuming. How many, like, I probably, for a 15-minute video, I'm probably... Oh God! 4 hours of writing, and then like 2 hours of filming, and like 8 hours of editing.
It can add up. You're basically interning for yourself at that point.
And it's a grind. It's
a slow climb.
I was joking that it's like you spend thousands to make hundreds, but
sounds about right.
But it's a passion project. You love it. So anyway, thank you.
Let's just come out to shows like this.
Thank you very much for
guys like you. Yeah.
But I enjoy coming to here and meeting YouTubers that have legitimately inspired me to come down this weird video retro gaming rabbit hole. And,
it is a rabbit hole. For sure.
It is. So I've thank you very much. This is John Riggs has not only talked about video games. He makes them. He created Choo Choo Mimic.
I did.
That is incredible. It's like, you can write about video games, you can play them, but crossing that barrier and actually making them a physical, real thing is an incredible accomplishment.
Thank you.
So, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
8-bit joystick. I am here with the only Unipiper doing his part to keep Portland weird. So what do you love about bagpipes?
They're loud, and most people don't know what they sound like, so it doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah, but you do your best, and it's all about long-range Scottish communication between the hills and also rousing the troops. And you, sir, I just want to say you are doing your best to keep Portland weird.
Thank you.
I was sort of saying in my video that, like, Portland embraces the auteurs and, it's a nice city, but we like it dank. We like it weird and that dankness. So you are doing your best. It is a crying shame that the Portland, I'm sure the fire marshal doesn't let you use the fire.
Indoors,
for those of you that don't know, he rides around on a unicycle, often with a Darth Vader helmet, playing various pop culture themes on a bagpipe with a special bagpipe that also shoots fire. And you also did the BB-8 ball.
Yes.
So I am amazed at your dexterity. I can't even like cut dinner without hurting myself. So I'm amazed at your gumption and dexterity.
Yeah, that's my one superpower.
I am here with Jeremy Parrish. This man is the reason why I make YouTubes. I would not be making
that.
I would not be making this channel, having the funnest time making videos, if not for this. This guy is a gentleman and a scholar, and he is literally wrote the book on my favorite obscure video game system. So continue to do all your hard work. Thank you for finally making it to Portland. King Bowser, what do you say about the allegations that you and Princess Peach are secretly lovers and this whole kidnapping the Mushroom Kingdom thing and terrorizing is actually some weird game that you two enjoy?
We have our kinks, man. We do. She's all mine, though.
Your peaches.
My peaches.
So, Jacob, 8-Bit Joystick, and I'm here with Brandon. He used to work at Second Time Around and was the, so my video that I was talking about, the Retro Gamer's Guide to Seattle, and I was like, first of all, what was the name of that store that was on the U District that they had this punk, you know, and that is also Second Time Around.
All the guitars and like any sort of physical media, laser discs, I mean everything. We even had a guy used to call them Nintendo tapes.
Right. Well, that is appropriate because like the Famicom cartridges are the size of cassette tapes. And they actually is, like, that is an official size that you can put a Famicom cartridge in a cassette tape. But, like, so, a Second Time Around. So,
Yeah.
you worked there for...
I worked there for 2 years as assistant manager, and I had a blast with it. It was a really cool time. I got to learn a lot about the business, and, you know.
So, it was like the day... So, I call that like the golden age of video game collecting, where cartridges were considered disposable.
Nobody cared if, if, you know, like, people, you know, this was, there was no price charting, so nobody, you're just like, sure, I'll take that bundle for $20. You didn't.
Well,
it could be a little Samson in it. You didn't know. No one cared about that sort of stuff back then.
So answer me one of the things that I wanted to know about Second Time Around.
Okay.
So that's the place where I first got into Super Famicom.
Okay. Yeah, we had a lot of imports because we had a lot of Japanese students that go to the U.
That was my theory, that there were like kids that were from Japan that would go and sell the cool stuff that they had in high school for beer money.
Yeah, because to them it was like, you know, like a Final Fantasy IV import to us is like, wow, cool. They were just like, you know,
these are a dime a dozen in Japan. These are 500 yen for a dozen.
Yeah, and like I had a lot of Japanese exchange students that I knew, and they would they lived up on Capitol Hill, and you would see just outside the dumpsters just boxes of manga and Famicom cartridges because to them they were just disposable.
So that's the thing. Also, I did in my video about like the Asian cuisine of the U District is like next level.
Oh, it's amazing
because of the international students.
It's absolutely amazing.
And I was like, sure, the international district is great, but this is like the legit stuff in the U District.
U District was the low key, like the really cool.
So
a lot of great stuff was in there.
I had a ethical dilemma with my U District video.
Okay.
I am from Washington.
Yes.
The correct phrase is the U District.
Yes.
But outside of Washington, which is the target of my video, everyone uses the term university district. So I was like, I'm conflicted.
It's local slang.
So what I did is like that you can say the U of dub. We'll know what you're talking about, but we'll judge you slightly.
Yeah, you sound a little weird. It's just like, you know, it doesn't sound right.
Anyway, so here at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, may you have a pleasant and uneventful day.
No fire alarms, please.
The sales here are on fire. Ha ha ha.
What's your name?
Jacob.
Jacob. Okay.
And Matt.
Welcome to NBA Jam on Fire Edition. Tonight's matchup: Kiwi Matt takes on Jason.
Jacob. Close it up.
Whatever. Jacob. Kiwi Matt takes on Jacob. Jacob says, I can't go to work without my coffee donut. You bring the coffee and I'll bring the Dunkin'. Boom shakalaka. And the Dunkin' drive-thru lane is wide open for Jacob tonight. Now Kiwi Matt going the other way. He says, you bring the peanut butter and I'll bring the jam. Kaboom.
Neo Geo AES.
MBS.
Let me do that again. Edit it. Neo Geo MBS.
You should have done it actually.
Well, actually, you know, I want to say that like it feels good in your hand. Like you pick it up and you feel those dual circuit boards. Look at that magnificent beast. It is quite literally too cool for home consumption. But I can handle it. Ladies and gentlemen, Game Boy Light. The Game Boy we did not get in America.
We didn't deserve it.
We didn't.
We're not good.
We got the Glow Light instead, but we weren't cool enough to get the Game Boy Light. It is a light-up, officially made LCD. Well, okay, it's an LCD display, but it's a side-lit. Is it side-lit or backlit? Do you remember? Anyway, I have to look it up. Backlit.
But not great backlit.
Yeah, but still,
I mean,
you know,
it
was from the day. It was lit.
Yeah.
It, sir, was lit. A Nintendo Super Mario Brothers calculator that's styled after the yellow Famicom cartridge, complete in the box for $100. And they also have some Famicom cartridges, including Dynamite Bowl, which has a monkey wearing shorts bowling. How to get it? Art. I got Mason Ikoku Collector's Edition on DVD. A Sega Mark III.
Yeah.
And so you have, is that a custom flash card that you got in there?
So it's actually, let me pull it out. It's just an EverDrive.
Okay.
And the adapter lets you make this 3D printed case that makes it like a Mark III card instead of having the big. You can do this with just.
So
the normal
I have a regular. God, they really made the Master System larger for the American release. All right, sir, the sound ain't big enough for the two of us. 1, 2, 3, draw! Ah, you got me, varmint! All this retro N64, and then all of a sudden you got Star Wars, the trilogy, which is the original cut, which George Lucas keeps out of circulation so that his ex-wife doesn't get the royalties, because he's bitter that way. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blockbuster Video couch at Blockbuster Video. Oh yeah. Okay, I needed this. I originally thought I'd sit down just for like a shtick, but I'm happy here. Okay, here at the Blockbuster Video booth, do I want to get Episode 1, The Phantom Menace on VHS, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze? I'm here at the Blockbuster Video Experience here in Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and they are selling Blockbuster mystery gift bags. And so I purchased one, and I do not know what is in it, and let us see. I got World War Z on DVD. It is widescreen version. I actually greatly enjoy this movie, so I am pretty happy about that. Okay, the next one looks like a DVD. Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters on DVD. I have this on Blu-ray, however, I can watch this on my CRT TVs, so glad to see about that. The next fine piece of merchandise, of something that I got, what is this? Oh my God! G.I. Joe the movie from Blockbuster Video. So this is, oh wow. I am legitimately stoked about this. So, G.I. Joe, the movie. These are bangers so far. Let's see what else. We got more in here. Terminator widescreen edition on DVD. Oh my, okay, this is all good stuff. Tales from Gremlins. And in the VHS, The Matrix Reloaded on VHS. I am happy. And I saw the Drama Llama. We have the Portland Pickle. And I also purchased Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, with Vanilla Ice. Blockbuster Video, go home happy, be kind, rewind, and free flicks, free flicks. Call right now for free flicks. Blockbuster videos you want to see. With MCI, you can rent them free. So this is Retro Game Books. They are an excellent publisher. I have purchased their digital content. They make Retro Gaming Color Book, a book on a complete history of Rygar. Their big book that I just purchased a physical copy of in the frame is Video Game Maps, NES and Famicom. They also have video game maps, Genesis and Mega Drive for, you know, your European aficionados. Pixel art, Metroid, NES achievements, and they have a brand new coming out, not quite out yet?
It just came out last week.
Ooh, just came out last week. Video game maps, Super NES and Super Famicom for those of you that can read katakana, and it is hardbound, so feels good in your hand. So I look forward to actually legitimately sitting down as I'm going to do my social media fast, and it's good to have a legit, honest-to-God book. So I actually put The Legend of Zelda on my shelf of physical media that I'll be enjoying. So I was debating, do I put a guidebook onto it, or do I want to like go old school? So, and can I find all the dungeons, and can I solve it from memory? So I deeply appreciate, oh, that's good. So a actual physical retro things that you can touch. So I think it's amazing that, like, as a Western gamer, as an American, I mean, you know, Brazil is the West, but like, from the American perspective, it's like when we say America, we mean North America, and you got Mexico in America as well, and Cuba. And so it's like Brazil had the tax policy, basically, so they, instead of having Sega import games, they had a lot of locally manufactured tech toy. There you go, tech toy right there. And I know, I love that. That is a hard one to actually like get running on American hardware because it wants PAL. But so I love the gumption of Tectoy. Like they ran out of games. So after Sega left the 8-bit market, that they made their own games, and they brought. Oh, so it's Wonder Kid, or so this is like Wonder Boy.
It's Wonder Boy, but they didn't answer this character, Monica, Bruno the Monica.
Yeah. So there's one that I meant. So I again speak English, and I was trying to look up. Let me go.
Oh yeah, he knows. Yeah, you're going to the panel, right?
I'm going to the panel.
Just on Spotify, it was not even on YouTube. And now he's on YouTube, and he came again this year to do and talk happening here about the video game, right? But what about Brazil? Brazil was the opposite way. It was all about good stuff for video games.
That can be really fun to do, but also, like you said, you know, when everyone is going to, going left, go right. You know what I mean?
channel, and then from there kind of grew other businesses.
Portland Retro Gaming Expo is in the bag, and I'm finally home, and I thought I would show off all the cool stuff that I got there. Starting off are these fake bananas. So Retrobird Senpai makes a heck of an entrance. His wife came out dressed as a banana. They played Get Ready for This by 2 Unlimited, and they threw out. I was mostly on the hunt for Sega Master System games. Yesterday, on actually the first day, I had picked up Time Soldiers and Wonder Boy, and also Phantasy Star 4. That was a big one that I was looking for. And I also got Ken Seiden. So that was on day 1. This is my day 2 and my day 3 haul that I got. So like I said, I'm mostly new to Sega Master System. So luckily I had my video of my collection video and I referred to it. So Action Fighter. I think this is sort of like you play a agent in a car that drives, that can also turn into a boat and also fly. And it's a good Sega action game that I got for $8. I can't believe I didn't have a copy of Space Harrier. I had Space Harrier 3D, but not the original Space Harrier. So I saw a copy for $10 and I had to get it. Now, Cyborg Hunter. I didn't really know much about it, but I actually looked it up and it was actually really well reviewed back in the day. So I got a copy of Cyborg Hunter by Activision for $13. I think they might have published it, but not actually developed it. I'll have to look that up. So next one that I got for $18 is Sega's Quartet. And so this is funny because Quartet is a 4-player action game, but the Master System can do 4 players, so they actually had 2. But instead of calling it Quartet, and there was a Quartet 2-player version, which is called Quartet 2, which is actually just Quartet that would only have 2 players. But Quartet, side-scrolling action game. So I'm glad I found Miracle Warriors, which is, I believe, a traditional role-playing game on the Sega Master System. So I look forward to this. Now, on day 2, there was a fire alarm. And I was looking for Sega Master System right when the fire alarm went off. And I found these 2 games that were on my list and they were a reasonable price. And so as I evacuate, and the dealer says, oh, I can't take card, I can only take cash, or I take these cash apps that I don't use. Or that I don't use. So I actually evacuated by the ATM and I went and got cash to purchase these. And there are Roston, which is Taito's Roston. This is a really, really good version on Sega Master System, a really good 8-bit downgrade, or demake, 8-bit version. And a really amazing version of R-Type. R-Type for Sega Master System, really, I believe this is one of the games that was reprogrammed by Sega, and I looked at I believe I included this. I have to look, I think I covered this in my reprogrammed by Sega video. Did I make that video? I knew it. I don't think I did. I'll have to, anyway, so sneak peek. I also got Kung Fu Kid. So this is the sequel to Dragon Wang for SG-1000. This game was actually brought to Brazil and they gave it a Brazilian mascot, but this is the original Kung Fu Kid. So I am going to call it quits early and enjoy a stack of Sega Master System games on my CRT. But that is not the only Sega goodness that I was on the lookout for. So I had Shinobi 2 for the Sega Game Gear, but I did not have Shinobi 1. So I remedied that and got one for $15. They also had Devilish, which I believe might be a pinball game. But this is the Japanese variant, and I saw it down in a booth, and he wasn't labeled, and he was like, "How much for it?" And I was like, $5. Will you good for that?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take it." So I gave him $5. When you go to cons like this, expos, bring cash, and sometimes they'll want to give you a deal if you bring cash. So
I ran into, actually he was there, John Riggs Senpai. So this is my own copy of Indie Heroes 3 on the Evercade. Now he actually designed his own game called Choo Choo Mimic, which is published on Evercade. So this is a cartridge that I brought to the expo to have him sign, because not only is he a YouTuber, he is a game designer, and I will do commentary, but I have not made it my own game. He actually made his own game, so I had him sign it. The other Evercade things that I found is there is Data East Collection 1. This is one of the earlier ones. It's got some Burger Time. I saw Peter Pepper cosplayer dressed as Peter Pepper, and it was during the fire evacuation, and we were coming in, and I was like, Peter Pepper! And he goes, woo! And I wish I would have gotten it on camera, because I love Burger Time. So now I have some Data East games on Evercade. And just came out recently, this is the Giga cartridge of Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 on the Evercade. So there were people that were selling Evercade, but Blaze themselves were not there this year. So I'm glad that Evercade was there. And they said that the Evercade last year is basically powerful enough to go almost all the way up to Dreamcast. So they can definitely do, or PlayStation 1, and they can also do N64, and they're now starting able to do PlayStation 1 on the Evercade, which is super exciting. So, not to go over to, not done with the Sega yet, even though I don't officially collect for Sega Genesis, I saw some Sega Genesis games that I just couldn't pass up. So, first is Genesis 6-pack. This is Sonic the Hedgehog, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Revenge of Shinobi, Columns, Super Hang-On. And the reason why I had to get this is it's got a Hollywood Video sticker, a out of business chain in that is still, I like Hollywood Video. And so if I see something that was at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or a former rental, then I greatly enjoy the story of the thing. So I saw that sticker and I was like, okay. And plus it was $10. Another one, everyone likes their perfect collections. I like loose, scruffy, yes, Kitty, I do enjoy loose cartridges that have scruffy labels. Hold on, he wants to say something. Are you gonna come up? No, he's not coming up. So I got Sonic Classic. I think, again, this was all other $10. This is Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine on a Genesis cartridge with a scruffy label. And this was a little bit high up there, has a little bit of a scruffy label, but totally worth it. Landstalker, I believe this was made by Climax, which is a funny name. And this is like an isometric RPG, action RPG, one of their like Legends of Zelda with elves with jumping around. I believe a unofficial spiritual follow-up was Alundra, but I didn't have a copy of Landstalkers. $32, but still a good deal. Okay, one of the more pricey games that I got there, but is Contra Hardcore. This is the American version. Has a bit of a scruffy label, but they're charging $35 for it, and I don't have, and this can actually get a little pricey with an actual good label and a good box. This is the harder American version. The Japanese version had a code or a life bar. This one does not, but I believe they had some special codes to make it easier. They got rid of the life bar, but they made it harder for the American release, but they had to put in some codes to justify that it's not insanely hard, but it still is insanely hard. But Konami plus Genesis equals good, so I had to get it. There is this scruffy copy for $15 of Target Earth. This is sort of the prequel to Cybernator unofficially, and made, I believe, by I don't want to say, yes, Kitty, I was going to say Telnet, but I don't think it actually is. That's right, the developers of it is currently escaping my mind, but it was published by DreamWorks, which is not the same DreamWorks as the animation company, on the Genesis, and I got it for $15. So Portland Retro Gaming Expo was long, and it was well worth it, but I was away from a certain kitty who really wanted to, I came home, and he's glad that I'm back, because he missed me. He's my big old Pokemon. So while he is on camera, I thought I would show off. So Kelsey Lewin of Pink Gorilla Games wrote a book. She literally wrote a book on Animal Crossing. And so I had her sign it, a copy for me, and a copy for my friend Dave in Japan. He likes Animal Crossing and wanted to see her book, and so he actually got her book and autographed it. Then there's this great company called Retro Game Books that published a book of video game maps, NES and Famicom. I have this, the ebook version, and I greatly enjoyed their ebooks, but they were there, and just greatly enjoyed holding an actual physical copy, and so had to get it. And yes, that's right, Kitty. Oh, now he wants down. First he wants up, and now he wants down. Non-consensual kitty kisses. All right, so Jeremy Parrish Senpai. So Jeremy Parrish is one of the reasons why I do this YouTube channel, because I greatly enjoy his stuff. I love his fun writing. And he wrote a book on the Sega SG-1000, and I had him sign it, and that was last year. And I realized that I do not have a copy of his book, Virtual Boy Works. So his trip out to Portland was originally delayed by the hurricane that hit the East Coast. And then I was going to go to his presentation on the history of Dragon Warrior, and then there was the fire alarm and evacuation, so I didn't get to go to it. So he signed it, thanks for the eye strain, and so I have a copy of his book. So I did not get too many 16-bit Nintendo games, but originally I saw this, and I thought it was going to be the Sailor Moon fighting game. It is not. It is the Sailor Moon S puzzle game. But I looked it up, and it's one that I didn't have, and it was only $10. So another Super Famicom game added to my Super Famicom collection. Now, I'll show this. So I have a good friend in New Zealand who I've never met, who started in person, but we've been online friends and sort of like pen pals for years. So Kiwi Matt used to read 8bitjoystick.com, the old blog, and I showed him, PGRE, and he wanted the announcer. So the announcer of NBA Jam. I am not that big into sports game, but he is, again, really liked NBA Jam. So I actually bought a copy of NBA Jam for Super Nintendo, and he wrote, "Kiwi Matt is on fire, boom shakalaka kaboom." And I bought this from him. And I said, this is for my friend Matt in New Zealand. He just wants it to have on his shelf. Unfortunately, he won't get to play it. And he's like, well, why can't he play it? I'm like, well, New Zealand has a different TV system and different shaped cartridges. So he's played NBA Jam, but now he'll have his own personal autographed copy by the announcer, boom, shakalaka. So I am legally mandated. So when I see, I joke, I am not legally mandated, but I sort of am. There was a couple that was selling Laserdiscs. They live in Portland. They stock Laserdiscs, and they have one of the world's largest collection of Laserdiscs because, of course they do. It's Portland, Oregon. Why not? And they purchased a collection of someone that included some Famicom games. So he was selling some Famicom games, but he himself wasn't really knowledgeable in the ways of Famicom, and admittedly so. So Athena actually goes for almost $100 in Japan. It's not a good game, but it's a very pink cartridge, and it's very cute. It's one of SNK's early games, and I've always wanted. I also got him to include a horrible bootleg version of Felix the Cat. I believe this is a vintage Chinese-made bootleg version of Felix the Cat by Konami, and it has Tom and Jerry on the cover and a generic Woody Woodpecker ripoff. So there we go. No one on that. So I'm a sucker for a good Famiclone, and he was trying to look this up on price charting, and I was like, you're not going to find it on price charting because it's a bootleg, but it's cool. So let me make you a reasonable offer. So I'm glad I got that. So someone was selling for $10 Akari Warriors. This is Akari Warriors for Famicom ABBA. It is sort of has grown to be beloved. But I did not have a copy of Akari Warriors. Probably overpaid a little bit, but this was $10. Things that are very cheap in Japan are instantly marked up when they come to America. So this is Capcom Barcelona, and I believe this is one of their 1992 Olympic Games. And Summer Olympic Games, and I'm a sucker for Capcom games, and I like a nice lime cartridge. One I didn't have, had to get it. I talked about this yesterday in the video, so this is Goonies 2, which I already have, but someone put a happy birthday sticker on it, and Shinosuke wrote his name on the back. I believe that's what it says. And I am a sucker for Japanese kids who mark up. I mean, now they're my age. They're grown men and grown women, but I love it when kids customize their cartridges. And I was on the lookout for Hello Kitty World, but I could not find it. However, I did find Sanrio Carnival, which is a collection of Hello Kitty themed mini games, and I'm a sucker. I'm a fan of Hello Kitty based video games, so I had to get it. So I showed you my books. However, there were individuals who were selling videotapes. I love Rumiko Takahashi. She is probably the greatest one of manga creators of all time. Created Urusei Yatsura right out of the gate, followed up with Maison Ikoku, and then Ranma 1/2 and Inuyasha, among other things. So Maison Ikoku is out of print for a long time, and so I was really excited to see a DVD collector's set of the first 3 volumes. And so I just love that show of vibes, and this is super chill, and I look forward to watching this on a CRT TV. So there was Pee-wee's Playhouse Ice Cream Soup. This is a collection of Pee-wee's Playhouse that I bought from the Unipiper. The Unipiper has a table, and his friend was selling VHS because it's Portland, Oregon. We're used to weirdness. So I purchased a videotape of Pee-wee's Playhouse from the Unipiper. And I'm a mustache hipster. It doesn't get much more Portland, Oregon than that. Someone there was selling Johnny Mnemonic is one of my favorite bad movies. It is a bad cyberpunk movie, and one of the early versions of the tape had a clear thing. So it's about, like, you know, Keanu Reeves is a data courier, and he writes like 150 gigabytes of data on his brain, which was a terribly large amount of information at the time. And you could look through and actually see his head. So this isn't that edition of it, but it's the version of the movie. It's one of my favorite bad movies on VHS, so I'm glad to have it. Area 88. So Area 88 is a OVA anime series based on a very depressing anti-war manga. And it was brought to the US as UN Squadron the game. However, the anime, I had volume 1, so I was very excited to see volume 2. So they had the VHS swap meet. However, they wouldn't actually let you trade anything. Like, it wasn't really so much a swap meet as in dedicated VHS vendor section. However, I had brought 2 movies such as Armageddon and one of the other astronaut movies, Apollo 13. And I traded it for, and someone actually did want to trade, for Pulp Fiction on VHS. So I have, you know, this was one of those movies, it was highly influential to me. It was released right, it's one of the earliest DVDs, but also VHS was a big thing when it came out. So it's one of those movies that just hits better on VHS. Zillion. Zillion is an anime series, and this is the first couple episodes. This is dubbed. I actually have the complete series on Blu-ray, but it's funny because I went to NT Games was one of the presenters who's a Brazilian YouTuber, and he was talking about the history of Sega in Brazil. And so Sega actually had a light gun toy, and they made an anime series to promote it. And so they had, which was crazy because the light gun was not released in Japan. So this is actually the light gun, the Zillion gun, which is basically the Sega light phaser. However, the cartoon was brought to Brazil, and the toy was brought to Brazil. And the company Tectoy, the Brazilian Tectoy, was able to use that as an opening to establish a relationship with the Sega and get the rights to bring the Sega Master System and the Mega Drive and other later Sega consoles to Brazil and completely reshape the Brazilian gamer market. So I saw Zillion on VHS. It's Streamlined Pictures release, which is, so it's dubbed. It's probably not a good dub, but Again, I'm nostalgic for anime on VHS. And he also had Video Girl I Love and Sadness. So I believe this is about a magical girl, a dude who's lonely, and a magical girl comes out of a CRT and is like his girlfriend. I've never actually seen it, so this is the first OVA based on it. And apparently this is just down for the late 80s, early 90s Showa vibes, which I'm all about. So they had a big box of the Mighty Orbots, the Magnetic Menace. So this is one of the first episodes of the Mighty Orbots, which was an anime series. No, it was made, see, I said anime. So it was made by a Japanese company. An American company hired a Japanese anime studio to make a Saturday morning cartoon about a giant these robots that would combine into a giant robot, which is, you know, typical for Japanese Super Sentai. But the Transformers, boy, I think they were worried about being sued out of oblivion. But I saw Mighty Orbots as a kid, and I loved it. So when I saw Mighty Orbots on VHS, I had to get it. Again, I have it on Blu-ray, but it doesn't hit the same way on VHS. So go, Mighty Orbots! I don't remember the rest of the lyrics of the song. Mighty Orbots! Anyway, so there was a little company there out of Bend called Blockbuster Video. And Blockbuster Video was at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo again, and they had a selection of previously viewed movies. And I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, which is, again, not a good movie, but it's almost so bad that it is a good movie. And it has Vanilla Ice rapping with the Turtles, so I had to get it. I had a great time at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Did I spend a lot of money? Yeah, I did. Do I regret it? No. I met a lot of great people. I supported a lot of independent businesses. I met a lot of YouTubers that I just walked up that these are the ones that inspired me to make YouTube, and I walked up to them and say, I run a YouTube channel, and you inspired me to do this. And thank you for doing what you're doing, and thank you for inspiring me. And a lot of them were really cool. A lot of them were really supportive. Happy Console Gamer, very cool, very supportive. John Riggs, same way. John Hancock, very cool. Was totally down with talking about the realities of doing YouTube. And and there were other YouTubers. Let's see, Pat the NES Punk, Pro Jared, and of course Jeremy Parrish Senpai. Saw Metal Jesus. Portland Retro Gaming Expo, great time, and just try and chill and play some Sega games tonight. So,
Portland Retro Gaming Expo, that's a wrap. This is 8-Bit Joystick. Stay awesome, play retro.